And good evening and welcome to America Can We Talk. This is Debbie Georgatos. I just hate starting this show on such a negative note, and it's amazing that we're in this position again on this Sunday evening of having to start the show to say we've had another very unfortunate tragedy in America. We had the shooting today in the middle of the day while many of us were sitting in church and praying and singing and studying the scriptures. We had a shooting, a murder in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A young black man has killed 3 police officers from Baton Rouge. 3 others are seriously, 3 others injured, 1 critically. And so we're opening our show with, again, a great tragedy in America, the just completely unprovoked shooting of police officers. And we had just a couple of days ago another horrific, murderous crime committed by a Muslim, by a jihadist in Nice, France, and that resulted in 84 deaths, and including some Americans, and of just innocent people celebrating kind of like our July 4th, their Bastille Day. So, you know, it's a somber way to start the show. I feel like I have to acknowledge them and say, just obviously our hearts go out to these people, the victims in all those instances, and our prayers. But as I said last week, I'm going to try to talk about it more tonight. Americans and the good people around the world are becoming fed up with where we are and what we're dealing with, what we're suffering through in America with respect to these just the violence that has grown out of the Black Lives Matter movement, and we're sick and we're fed up with the violence around the world committed by radical jihadists, by Islamic jihadists. And so I want to talk tonight just to say a couple things about what leadership means and what's needed to actually get to solutions in America. And so to start with, everyone always hears after these horrible incidences, President Obama issued a statement after the Nice, France attack and said something to the effect, condemning it in the strongest possible terms. And everyone on the planet says, my heart goes out, our prayers go out, we care, we love you, we support. We have these candlelight vigils, we put out flowers and candles. And you know what? All that's lovely, but it's not enough. And I'm telling you, the American people have had just about enough of this kind of violence around the world and within America. And I'm going to start with what the job of leaders is in America and contrast 2 statements about how people in leadership, what they should be doing and what they are doing. I want to read you a statement, and then I'm going to tell you who said it. I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism and war that the bright daybreak of peace and brotherhood can never become a reality. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word. Now, I know you're listening, you're thinking, I don't think that sounds like Barack Obama, and you are right. Those were the words of Martin Luther King Jr. in the middle of his civil rights struggle. He wrote about, and he's seeing mankind as the right and good wins, contrasted with the statements by President Obama. He has one statement along the lines of, racism is in our DNA. And when he spoke after the shootings in Baton Rouge, not today's shootings, but the shootings by police officers a few weeks ago, he made notes, just this past week rather. This was after the shooting death by police officers of Alton Sparling. President Obama made a comment essentially saying Obama noted African Americans are 30% more likely than whites to be pulled over, and last year they're shot by police at more than twice the rate of whites. And he also had talked about President Obama speaking to America about this, just saying we all have to be concerned, we all should care. And folks, the reason I want to raise this is this. I'm going to say in this segment, in this Speak Up for America segment, and the next segment of this show, that a great deal of the racial tension in this country today is directly caused by President Barack Obama, directly caused by the kind of words he chooses to use when he speaks to the American people. It is caused by the failure of many in leadership in America to speak about what's true in America, to correct falsehoods. And it is incumbent on leaders in this country and around the world, but we're talking right about America and the consequence, the outcome of the Black Lives Matter movement. It is incumbent on leaders to demand that truth be told on all sorts of issues, because otherwise we're just dealing with lies. We're trying to solve these horrible problems in America based on lies. And there's just this idea, for example, and I gave this example last week, but I want to say it again. And so when you talk to people about violence in America and the Black Lives Matter movement, understand the protesters around the country in the Black Lives Matter movement yell out, "Hands up, don't shoot." And they're referring to the Ferguson, Missouri shooting of Michael Brown. And that incident, that hands up, don't shoot plea for his life, never happened. And Barack Obama and every other leader in this country, the governors, the mayors, the leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement should be saying that truth, but they don't. And they don't do it because the agitation and the tension politically benefits the American left. You know, we're coming up on a break. This is a really short segment, but when I come back, I'm going to talk to you about the real facts that have to be out there, statistical facts, and also share with you some statements by Americans. I'm not saying that police are perfect, because you can have some Americans talking about the challenges we have, the racial tension, but we have to work on solutions. It's not enough to say and shake our heads and say, gosh, another tragedy. We have to work towards solutions. Right after the break, we'll talk about that.